Hello guys, welcome to Go to Micro Projects. Kindly check this application out. Now if I say name Joe, email Go to Micro Projects and message I say welcome and I say send, it tells me message sent. Great. In this video, we're going to develop this using React Hooks and Redux. If you want to type along with me, kindly install the following. 1. npm install Redux. 2. npm install React Redux. And 3. npm install Redux DevTools extension. So that is that. With all said and done, let's begin. To begin with, let's create 3 folders in our SRC folder. So first one, create a folder and call it assets. Good. Now create another folder and call it components. And create another folder and call it Redux. Good. So let's take the first one, assets. Now in the assets, let's create a folder and call it images. Good. So we need to grab some images from the internet for the background. So I went to the internet and grab this image. So we're going to use this and I'm going to copy it and take it to the images folder using the back door. Go to the folder you're working in. This is my folder I'm working in. So I locate the assets folder through the SRC. Then I go to the assets folder and images and I paste it here. Good. So that is that with my image for the background. So that is that for the assets. So next is a component. So the component, let's create a folder and call it contact folder. Good. Now inside a contact folder, let's create a file and call it contact.js. Good. Now let's get our boilerplate. Good. Now instead of ordinary div, why don't we make it React.fragment? Inside that, we can say with an h2 tag, we can say hello. Good. Let's link that to app.js to view on the screen. So we say contact. Good. Contact has been imported for us. So let's check the screen to see how it's doing. Great. We have hello on the screen. It means we're ready to go. So now we can close the app.js, then begin. Now to begin with, what is the structure for our application? Now in this application, I want us to have a header, then the body, yeah, something like this. Okay, so we can have from inside of the name, we can have another one for email and another one for text box, then our button finally. Okay, something like this. Good. It is going to be a structure for our application. Now about the page setup, I want us to work in the middle region. Okay, Bootstrap has 12 columns, so to get the middle region, we need to make the first 4 empty so that we can get access to the middle region. It's something like this. We can have 4, 4, 4. So I'm going to work in this region. So that is that for the page setup. So now we can begin. So to begin with, let's create a div. Good. And give the class name and call it row. So inside that row, let's create a column. So we say div class name call MD4. Sorry, 4. Good. Now call MD4. We can copy that twice. Good. So we can work in the second one. Good. So that is that. Now in the second one, what do we need? We need a card. So we say div class name card. So inside that card, what do we need? We need a header. So we say div class name card header. We can just copy that. So the second one is going to be card body. So that is that. So we take them one after the other. First one, card header. Now before the card header, I want us to create a container that will contain the background image. So to do that, let me cut the header and create a div. And I'll say div equals class name. We call it image container. Then inside our container, I need another div with the class name and call it image wrapper. Okay, and inside that we can have our header. So that is that for the card header. So let's work on the card header. Now the card header, what do we need? We need an h2 tag. Sure, h2 tag that would say contact as ABP. Good, so that is that with the header. The next one is the body. Body. So with the body too, likewise we need to create a container. So I just cut it and create a div. Then I say class name equals image container. Then inside that we need a wrapper. So we say class name image wrapper. Then inside that we can have a body. Okay, so that is that for the body. Now let's work on the body. Now inside the body, what do we need? We need a form. I'll put that. And inside the form we need how many inputs? We need 4 inputs. So let's create a div for all of them. We say div class name equals form group. So that is that. We can copy that 4 times. Great. So let's take them one after the other. First one, we need an input field. Okay, so we say input, and inside the input What do we need? We need the type equals text. And inside that we need a placeholder called name. Then we need a class name called form control. So that is that with the input. Now likewise, the next one, email. You can just copy this input and do some changes. So I'll just say, good. So instead of test, we'll make it email. Then the name will be email. Class name, the same thing. The next one is the test. So we say test area. Good. So inside test area, we need a row equals 5. Then placeholder equals message. Then the class name equals form control. So that is our test area. That is that. Let's take the last one, the button. So inside that we say div input. Good. Then we say give type. We call it submit. Submit. Then value. We call it send. Then a class name. We call it form control. Great. So that is that. Let's check the screen to see how it's doing. Great. Let's add some margin tab and sign up everything. So to add some margin tab, we go to the row, say empty 5. Then we sign up everything. We go to card. Then we say first center. So let's check it out. Great. Now let's make everything bold. So let's call our font weight bold. So the H2, let's say class name font weight bold. You can copy that so everyone can take bold. So over here, next one, message, then the button. Okay, let's check it out. Great. So next is to add the background color. So let's go to our CSS. Good. So to add the background color, let's call image container. So we say img container. Give it a background image. Let me call URL. Then we say asset images, then bg3. So that is that. Let's check our screen. Great, we have it. So next is to add a wrapper to it to reduce the density of the image. So we're saying img wrapper. We say background color of RGBA to bracket 0, 0, 0, 0.7. Okay, so let's check that out. Great. Now we can make the heading white. So we go back to the header, then we say h2 text white. Now let's check it out. Wow, great. I want to make it underlined. So we can say, let's give it a UL, okay? So inside here, we can say U, and inside the U tag, let's put the U tag here. So we say U. Okay, let's check it out. Great. So that is that. Now the button, let's give it a name and color. So button, let's give it a name, btn send. Let's give it a color. We say .btn send. Give it a background color of 003982. Great. Then the color white smoke. Then border none. So that is that. Let's check it out. Great. That is that. We need to add more. The test area looks small. Let's check it out. So we go. Oh, sorry, it's not rows, rows. Good. Let's check it again. Great. This is how I want it. So that is that. I think the next thing to do now is to bind all the input fields. Okay. So to do that, let's give it a state. So we say import React, then use state. Use state. Okay. So now we can say let input, set input be equal to use state into bracket what? Name. Let's give it to empty. Then email. Let's also give that empty. Comma, then last one, message. Message to, let's make it empty. So what next? So that is that. So now let's give our inputs a name and value. So we say first one let's give it a name and call it name. Then give it a value and call it value. Let's call it input dot name. Then we give it an onChange, call it handle change. We can copy that. Okay, let's go to the next one, the email. The same thing, just do some changes. The name is going to be email. Sorry, email. Then the value is going to be input dot email. Then the onChange is going to remain the same. Next one, test area. The same thing. The name, let's call it message. And value input dot message. And the last one, handle check, will be the same. So that is that. Now next is to create a function for onChange, handle change. Can copy that. Good. So we can say here that let's say bind input. So we can now say let handle change be equal to a function. Good. Where the event, okay, we can now say set input bracket should give us the input back, comma, then we can have the event dot target dot name with the value event dot target dot value. Great. So to check that out, if it's working, let's call our pre-tag, call JSON. So we say pre-tag, inside that we call JSON. So we say JSON dot stringify to bracket input. Let me close that. Let's call JSON and test it out on the screen. So our JSON has brought us the name, email, and message. So anything we type here should show in the string. So if I say name, I say Joe, email, good do micro project, and a message, I love you. Good. So that is that. You can see our input field is working. The name, the email, and the message are all being represented. So that is that for the input field. Now the next one is the button. Don't want to bind the button. We need to add an onSubmit to our form. So we say onSubmit equals, let's call it handle submit. Submit. Let's create a function for handle submit. So over here, I can now say handle submit. Let handle submit be equal to a function. Okay. Event should give prevent default. So we say event dot prevent default. So this will prevent automatic sending of the form. So to test it out, we can call our alert bracket input. Let's check it out. Now, if I fill the form and send, it should alert the input. So let's fill it. Good do and alert it. We're gonna say we love you. Then this is send. See, when you send, it alerts the input. So it means the button is also working. So finally, let's make our input Composure. So to do that, we just add required to all of them. So let's go do that. Go to the input, then over here we say required. So likewise, we can just copy that, add it to all of them. Over here too, we just say required. Over here too, we say required. So let's check it out. So now if I submit, it will ask me fill it. So I say Joe, submit. I fill it. I say okay, good do micro projects. If I submit, I say no, fill it. So I say I love you. Good. So I say send. Good. It gives me alerts the input. So that is that. This is the setup for the application. So next we're going to do is to talk about Redux, where we're going to send the inputs to the store using the Redux. So thank you so much for sticking through. Don't forget to do good. Catch you in the next video. Bye.